troublemaker. I've been a late night player. I've been broke as a joke. I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker. Taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make a shaky, shaky thing. Popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my...
To Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast, Cable Channel 23, Danbury, Connecticut, on this September 5th. Chill in the air, nice brisk feeling out there. The calendar turns once again, some leaves flying down to the ground.
Yeah. We're back to
football.
And
that's it. We're ready for some football.
Oh.
We're also ready for some more pennant races as these things continue to heat up.
Right.
So we are going to do a big football preview show today, but we will touch quickly on the other baseball. Let's first say hello to Mr. Bob Broad Jr.
Hi, Scott.
Bob, how are we doing?
I'm hanging in.
Hanging in there?
Yeah, I got a lot of issues right now. My dad, I want to say hello to him tonight because he's been going
He's
through
a
a lot.
long-time fan of ours, and he's out
Yes.
there watching tonight, so we certainly say hello to Bob Broad Sr.
Yeah.
Hopefully comfortably watching the show this evening. And of course, Bob, your show, Spotlight On.
Yep.
Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock, Wednesdays at 12.
Yep.
Westerners season's over. What are you showing these days?
We're showing still part one of the breakfast, and then next week we'll be showing part two.
Are you doing that on the Spotlight On or on the Westerners
Our
Roundup?
Western Roundup, Spotlight On. We got I don't know, I forgot exactly. Oh, I think Gunsmoke's up this week.
All right. A little nice music for
Yeah.
everybody. And Mike Toohey in studio running things, our director, his show Expose Cinema. Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. Let's get right into it, Bob, because we got a lot of football to get to. Quickly first, baseball. Big, huge series tonight. Boston Red Sox with the first place in the AL East heading to the house that Aroyd built.
Yes.
And the Yankees, who have been living in that house that Aroyd built for seemingly a good month and a half now. Do they play on the road ever?
No.
They play mostly at home these days.
Yes.
21 of their last 30 games at home, and they're making hay in this ballpark, and they are creeping back up into this playoff chase. Moved to what, 75 and 64 now. 2.5 games behind Tampa, who has really fallen off, but they did win their last two, so they kept pace a little bit, keeping the Yankees from catching up completely. Baltimore's right in the mix, even though they have struggled. Cleveland is in the mix. Kansas City got themselves back in the mix, winning 8 of their last 10.
Right.
So they're right back in the mix. Oakland cruised past Tampa, sweeping them, and now they're ahead of Texas, back in first place. And Texas still, 2.5 ahead of Tampa, I think, for that wild card spot. National League, not much really to talk about. We know the picture there. Let's talk quickly about tennis, Bob.
Yes.
U.S. Open. Big upset. Andy Murray, the defending champ, knocked off this afternoon after Roger Federer was knocked out the other day. So no defending champion will win it this year. Andy Murray goes down shockingly.
Right.
So it's going to be coming down, I would say, to Rafa or Djokovic. That's what is going to happen. And then on the women's side, Serena and Azarenka.
Is Serena still in her usual?
The big matchup between her, the old American Serena Williams, and the young American Sloane Stephens didn't live up to the hype, as Sloane Stephens goes down without a whimper in that second set. Really fell apart. And it was really actually Ali Risk was the American who wild card, who went farther out of all these other young Americans who did really well for the women's side. Men's side not as much, but Ali Risk really played well. So the tournament has actually been outstanding. I've watched quite a bit. All right, let's keep it moving. College football before we get to our NFL breakdown.
How's your team doing?
Well, my team, as you know, is really the Colorado State Rams.
Yes, I meant.
Not necessarily the UConn Huskies, and UConn didn't win me over this weekend at all.
UConn looked like they had a little...
As I said in the show last week, I was going to watch the game and find out what is going on with the Huskies this year, because I really had no insight into what they would be like. I don't know that I'm going to tune in anymore, Bob, after last week's pitiful performance.
That was terrible.
Losing at home to Towson. Towson. Who is Towson? Have you ever heard of Towson? I don't know. They beat up on UConn pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
Paul Pasqualoni, he's got some splaining to do, Bob.
Maybe he thinks he's back at WestCon.
I don't know.
Or Syracuse.
Not good. CSU did not come up with the comeback victory. Looked like they were going to against Colorado, but they couldn't do it. Clemson was the big game of the weekend. I said that would be the game of the weekend. Number 8, Clemson moves to number 4 as they beat number 5, Georgia, who falls to number 11. Big win from Clemson. And guess who was there? Rexy Sexy Ryan. Instead of being in the Jets on cut-down day, roster cut-down day, he wasn't telling his team who he was cutting. He bailed out. Went down to see his son play for Clemson. And his son's a redshirt freshman, didn't even play in this game. Great game, 38-35, Clemson wins.
What position does his son play?
I don't even know, because he never got on the field. How could I tell you? But
no, I was just wondering if he's going to be a replacement for.
Maybe they need a quarterback up there in Jetsland. Let's get into it, Bob. NFL. We're ready to break down this upcoming season, which gets underway tonight.
Yeah.
It is the defending champions, Baltimore Ravens, doing the unthinkable, having to go on the road to Denver, Mile High, where they, beat those Broncos last year in that wild playoff game. An amazing comeback, overtime. Peyton Manning took a knee on the season, decided he didn't want to be a part of that OT, and let the Ravens steal that victory. And Baltimore has to go back there because of a scheduling snafu with MLB. So the Ravens open the defense of their title without many of the players that they had, and against Denver in Denver.
We got a call.
We do have a phone call. All right, let's see if this microphone works.
Yeah.
Hello, do we have a caller here?
Hey, Scott, how you doing? Kevin Gallagher here.
Kevin Gallagher, the former evil director. We knew we'd start breaking down football, and we get a call from Kevin. How's it going, Kevin?
Very good, very good.
What do you want to talk about?
Them Rams, probably.
What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about some football.
We're ready to break it down. We're just starting our preview of the season. I know your Chiefs are looking like a team that a lot of people are going to follow this year. What did you think of their offseason and bringing in Andy Reid?
Hey, Chiefs could do good this year. I think as far as my Chiefs go, they're going to wind up somewhere between a record of 6-10 and 10-6.
That gives you a lot of room. That gives you a lot of wiggle room there, Kevin. A lot of wiggle room between 6-10 and 10-6.
Yep.
But what do you think? You like Alex Smith? You like Andy Reid as the new head man?
I think they'll do fine with Alex Smith if they utilize him properly. I don't think you're going to see him throwing any big bombs downfield. If they, do a West Coast style offense, I think he's going to do very well.
I think one of the sneakier moves they made was getting the tight end out of Miami, Anthony Fasano, to be their new tight end, because we know Alex Smith likes to use the tight end. He had the great thing going in San Fran with Davis. So I think that was a little bit of a sneaky move by them. Of course, Dwayne Bowe has to be loving having a competent quarterback in place. And the big question really is Andy Reid going to let Jamal Charles run the ball, or is he going to be pass happy like he sometimes was in Philly, where he kept LaShawn McCoy down by not running it enough? What do you think about that?
The thing is, Jamal Charles is definitely a better running back than any running back they had in Philly.
Well, I don't know about that. LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy is one of the top. Kevin, Shady McCoy is one of the top running backs in the league, so I'm not sure you can say necessarily that Charles is overwhelmingly better than LaShawn McCoy. He's a pretty top running back.
I like Jamal Charles an awful lot. That kid ran for 3 200-yard games last year on a really crappy team.
Yes.
And, that's amazing. And if he wasn't playing for the Chiefs, if he was playing for the Giants or some big name team in San Francisco, everybody would know that kid's name.
Well, that is true. He's going to get a little more spotlight on him this year, and I think the Chiefs will do well. You got any other insights into any other NFL things besides your Chiefs? What are you thinking about the whole overall season?
Hard to tell, but I'll give you my Super Bowl pick. And in the AFC, I don't think it'll be a surprise. It'll be the New England Patriots, what I affectionately call the severed heads.
You're going with the severed heads.
In the NFC, I think you're going to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow, Revis.
They're one of those teams that is just missing a piece or two lost a lot of close games last year. They got good coaching. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams this year. They're probably, I won't surprise, they will beat the Jets on Sunday.
That won't be a surprise. Revis Island, I'm a little bit disappointed that Sanchez is not playing. I would have liked to seen Revis pick him off like 3 times in this game.
Pick him off like 3,000 times, right?
It's going to be Revis Island helping out the defense in the Bucs. Well, you're right about them. They, mid-season last year, they were on the tip of everybody's tongue because they were red hot, but they did not finish the season strong, so they raised some question marks. But they shore up the defense, bringing in Revis. They do have weapons on offense. They have a good running back. My favorite, New Martin there, Doug Martin. So, you know, Josh Freeman's kind of a question mark. He's the guy.
Sure.
Can he get it done? We'll see about that. That's going out on a limb, taking the Bucs in the Super Bowl. We'll see how that plays out.
Hunch. That's all it is.
And there, right there, we see a nice shot of the Tampa Bay cheerleaders in midseason form during the preseason. Very nice. All right, Kevin, we got a big, huge preview to do here. So you got anything else for me, or are you gonna?
I don't expect much out of the Jets this year. Sorry.
No, I don't think so. Geno time this weekend. We'll see. I'm about to break down the AFC East, so keep tuning in, and we appreciate the call.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right,
good
thanks.
show.
All right, let's get right to that AFC East. Big prediction.
Yeah.
Bucs Patriots
Well,
out
I think it would be more like the Giants and the Patriots.
Oh, well, you know, that game is in New York.
New York.
Did you hear the Farmer's Almanac predicted a huge snowstorm, 2-footer at least,
Imagine
the
having
week of the Super
Bowl.
Bowl. We'll just keep our eye on that forecast as it gets closer and closer. All right, let's go. Patriots, big question marks. I can't quite figure out why a lot of people are considering Gronk a non-factor for this team when he's been practicing all preseason.
Right.
He hasn't played, but he is practicing, and he's up full speed with the team right now. They didn't put him on the PUP list. Obviously, they know he's going to play within 2 to 3 weeks, or else they would have done that. So the tight end situation, they lose Hernandez, obviously. That's a big blow. But Gronk will be there. Amendola gets to take over, be the new Wes Welker. I like that. And really, the guy no one talks about, Julian Edelman.
Yeah,
I think Amendola is more the deep threat that Brandon Lloyd wasn't last year. Edelman is the new Wes Welker. And they got the young receivers, Josh Boyce, Kimberl Tompkins, Aaron Dobson, and a guy a lot of people are forgetting as well who's been there a few years and is a deep threat, Matthew Slater. The one cut they made that I did not like, Leon Washington. I was so excited to have him as their return specialist. They cut him. It's still unclear as to whether or not this is just a week 1 cut. The Patriots do so much with their roster. He might be back. I don't know. Very disappointed in that cut. But the running back situation is strong. Stephen Ridley, Shane Vereen is the new versatile back as they let go of Danny Woodhead. LeGarrette Blount, big heavy-duty back. And Brandon Bolden comes back. Remember, he had some real big games for them early before he had some injuries. But I think when you talk Patriots, you just have to talk defense. The offense is going to be there no matter who's on the team because Brady's there.
Right.
But the defense has improved year in year a little bit. Last year did a great job with the draft. Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower, these guys' second year under their belt. They're going to be better. They get Dane Fletcher back this year. He's a guy I liked in that linebacker core. But Aqib Talib, they kept him. I think that was huge. They traded for him last year from Tampa midseason. He played pretty well, but now full year in the system, full preseason. I like that. You know, and you got Brandon Spikes, Gerard Mayo, Nikovic, other big guys. So defense is going to be the key. We'll see what happens. They certainly should win the AFC East. What will they do come playoff time? As far as those Jets go, Geno time. They did keep Matt Sims. You know, Sanchez is injured. Sexy Rexy has lost all respect from the media.
Can we just let Sexy Rexy go?
I mean, they're basically got the clock on him. They don't think he's going to be long for this team. Will he survive the season? That's kind of the story. Is Antonio Holmes going to play this week? We don't even know. They say he's far away. Some people say he could go this week. Stephen Hill has got to improve. No one was impressed with him last year. They bring in Kellen Winslow as their new tight end. He didn't play last year. 2 years ago, he had a productive season in Seattle, but he's a year removed from that. I don't know. In the running back situation, and the guy they really wanted, Mike Goodson, suspended for the first 4 years.
Yeah.
As the Jets like to poke fun at the criminals up in New England. How many guns did he have on him when he was pulled over loaded on the highway, drunk with a bunch of drug paraphernalia?
Oh, yeah.
All you hypocritical Jet fans, they're all over the league. Don't just pick on the Patriots. Chris Ivory, Bilal Powell, these are all talented guys, but they're all cast-off guys who never really made it as the lead backs anywhere else. So the Jets got their questions. I don't see them doing much. Buffalo, speaking of questions, hey, at least E.J. Manuel is set to go. It didn't look like he was going to be able to start the season, their quarterback out of FSU, but he is ready. They got the new coach up there. They bring in the guy from that area, Syracuse coach, Doug Maroney. Last time I checked, Syracuse really wasn't a great football program. Don't know if I'm all excited about Doug Maroney heading it up. C.J. Spiller has been a hot topic in the fantasy world, but he has family drama. He had to leave the team, and he got banged up in the preseason. You know, so Fred Jackson's coming back. He was, you know, I don't know. He, to me, could be like, you know, Matt Forte with the Bears. These are very talented, versatile guys who came back from injuries last year but weren't really up to it. 2 years removed from injury, maybe they're back in the mix. So I wouldn't sleep on Fred Jackson as a guy. Stevie Johnson's still their lead back. Can Super Mario Williams do anything for the defense? He didn't do anything. They brought him in last year and they were lousy. And the Dolphins, everybody talking about the Dolphins as being improved. What did they do? They let Reggie Bush go. They let Jake Long go. They let Fasano go. Tannehill is okay. They bring in Mike Williams, who the Steelers wanted no part of keeping. I mean, really, what is the big deal about bringing in Mike Williams? They got Brian Hartline there. I mean, I don't know. The running back situation, Lamar Miller, Daniel Thomas. I don't know.
That's a scary situation.
That's your AFC East. How about your AFC North? Ravens, we mentioned, the defending champs. What about the Steelers? Another team with a running game where they don't know what they want to do. They cut Jonathan Dwyer. They name a different guy as their depth chart as a day-to-day. I still don't know who's their starter. Redmond, Bell, Stevens Howling. They even brought in Felix Jones, Bob.
That's really going out for a limb.
That's going out on a limb, bringing in Felix Jones. I mean, Big Ben is there.
But well, how productive has Big Ben been the last few years?
Playing defensively, they're not quite the same. They seem to be trending downwards, amazingly enough, because the Steelers are a great franchise. I never put it past them. They got the pedigree, but I don't know. I just see a team that is incomplete right now down there in Pittsburgh, in the AFC Central, AFC North. What are they calling that division these days? I don't know. Bengals, the Bungles, Hard Knocks again. Playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years, Bob. Andy Dalton's got to step up. Can they win a playoff game? They keep getting to the playoffs, but they're not winning any games. A.J. Green, explosive wide receiver, one of the top guys in the league. But, you know, they're just a solid team. Again, with the running back situation, not great. Defense is usually relatively good. But are they, you know, what can they do when it comes to the playoffs? So, and will they get back there? And can they actually win the division, maybe get a bye week home field advantage when it gets into those playoffs? And then you got the Cleveland Browns, new coach there. A lot of new coaches around the league. Rob Chudzinski. Say that, Bob.
Who is Rob?
I don't know. One of these guys, who knows where he's coming from.
Is he from college football somewhere?
I'm not sure. They lost a lot of close games. You know, Tampa Bay, we just talked about for a second. The Browns lost a lot of close games as well. Can they turn those games into victories? Brandon Weeden, another questionable guy. They have maybe one of the best running backs, versatile-wise. Trent Richardson. Big-time running back for Cleveland. They brought in a whole new offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, no longer in San Diego. He's the new man there. So the Browns, I kind of always keep my eye on the Browns. I'd love to see Cleveland get back. They have not really done anything since, you know, they lost the team and it came back. It'd be nice to see that dog pound fired up late in the year with big games. AFC South. We move down south, Bob. Texans. Is Matt Schwab elite? After getting embarrassed in the playoffs last year by the Patriots. Somehow this team was the most solid team. And there we go. Texans cheerleaders. They do have good cheerleaders down there. But they were the most solid team in the AFC all year long.
Sure, why not?
Somehow they did not lock up. They blew the number 1 seed, fell to a wild card situation where they had to play a wild card in the first round. So they need to lock down number 1 seed, at least number 2, get that bye week, get a home game down there in Texas Stadium, because that's what they need. Is Foster healthy? He didn't play in the preseason. Ben Tate's their backup, big time back. I kind of think the window on this team might be closing fast. So they need to get over the hump in a big way. Colts, last year was all about Chuck Strong. Now Chuck Pagano is going to have to do some coaching. Can he coach? Last year we saw he could motivate from the sidelines.
But I don't know about coaching.
But we still don't know if this guy can coach. It was Bruce Arians coaching last year. He's gone to Arizona. And Luck up, or is he Luck down? You know, everybody loves Andrew Luck. They won a lot of miracle games last year. Tough schedule. They playoff seed last year, so their schedule is improved. They bring in Ahmad Bradshaw to improve that running game. So we'll see with them. The Titans, it's all about Chris Johnson, Kenny Britt. Can these guys be big-time players? And the Jags, I don't have much to say about them in the AFC South. Still Texans and the Colts, probably the 2 teams to beat. I will watch the Titans. AFC West, we just saw a photo there of the Broncos as they get ready to take on the Ravens tonight. Dummerville gone. He left in that back snafu. They didn't sign him when they thought they had him. Champ Bailey's hurt to start the season. Von Miller suspended 6 games. Defense is hurting out of the gate, and their running back situation, another team with no real lead running back. Ronnie Hillman, Monte Ball, Noshawn Marino. Who knows? And Peyton Manning played well, obviously, last year. We know he had the neck surgery. Can he continue to hold up? We will see. Their receiving core improved with Welker over Brandon Stokely. You got Eric Decker and the monster Demaryius Thomas. Chiefs, we already talked about. Chargers, Norv Turner gone. Mike McCoy, the new man out there. Will that make a difference for the Superchargers? And their Raiders. All you need to know about them is they got a QB battle between Matt Flynn and Terrell Pryor. And they still don't know who the QB is. And we're on Thursday. Let's move into the NFC, Bob, and your G-men. What do you think about the New York Football Giants?
We're going all the way.
All the way, baby, to the Super Bowl, playing a home game. It has never happened before. And is that Bob Brault Sr. speaking, getting him all motivated as he's home watching the game? We know he's going to be rooting on his G-men. We'll see. We'll see. Bob Brault Jr. saying we're going all the way. Super Bowl at home for the G-men. We will find out. Hakeem Nicks coming back healthy, perhaps. Victor Cruz with the snap. He's complaining about his, contract. I never liked that. He's been banged up. He's been getting a lot of hits over the middle of the last couple of years. Eli, elite. This team, it's either 9-7, they go to the Super Bowl, or 9-7, they miss the Super Bowl. We'll find out. They got, of course, the big matchup with those Cowboys.
The
opening night
out there in
and the new running back situation. David Wilson and Andre Brown breaks his leg. So you got Darrell Scott as a backup. I think that's a big question mark right there. Can David Wilson be the number 1 man? Justin Tuck was hurt last year. He says he's coming back healthy. JPP, questionable to start the game this week. We're not so sure. Osi Umenyiora, bye-bye. He's gone. How about those Eagles, Bobby? You buying the hype on the Chip Kelly Eagles?
No.
Michael Vick, the quarterback, still there?
No.
Not buying the hype?
Nope.
Phillies? No?
Nope.
They play the Redskins this weekend. What about the Redskins? RG3 coming back healthy. You buying that?
I hope he comes back.
He is? Well, he's starting this weekend.
I hope he's 100%.
We'll see. He claimed he is. He had a little argument with his coach all season long as they wouldn't play him in the preseason. Their cheerleaders look like they're ready for the season, as we see right there. And the big news for the Redskins, really, they're getting Brian Orakpo back. Big deal. He's their defensive leader. And Brandon Merriweather providing the big hits in the secondary. Romo, Cowboys contract, they extend him another 6 years. Haven't we seen this story before? And they take away the play calling duties of Garrett, and they bring in Bill Callahan as
Yeah.
the new offense coordinator.
Hey, maybe if Rexy gets fired, he can go out there with his brother, you know.
Well, he's not even there in Dallas anymore. He's the new
gone.
man in New Orleans.
Well, hey, maybe you go there.
Speaking of the Saints, they're marching back in with their man Sean Payton back in the mix. Before we get there, NFC North, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. I think any one of these teams could win the division.
Right.
AP all day for the Vikings. Rodgers being questioned out there by his guys. Greg Jennings who left, Donald Driver who left. Bears, Urlacher and Lovey gone.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. NFC South, we got the Saints marching back in. Can they march past those dirty birds with the Falcons?
I don't think so.
Steven Jackson bolsters the running attack. Tony Gonzalez decides one more year. Osi Umenyiora joins that defense down there in Atlanta. The Bucks, Kevin Gallagher,
Yeah.
he's their guy. Panthers, Cam Newton, third year, improved, slow. They can't afford another slow start. NFC West, everybody says this is the best division. Was there a market correction last year when everybody said going in they were a lousy division
Right.
and they played up? Or is there a market correction where they come back down to earth? Seattle, you know, maybe PEDs. They got a bunch of guys suspended last year. Theoretically, they got to be off the PEDs, right? So is that going to hurt that defense? San Fran, are they going to have the super hangover,
Right.
you know, where they lose the Super Bowl and have a hard time getting back? Colin Kaepernick, of course, full season now.
Right.
Michael Crabtree, his favorite target, he's injured, out. But they bring in Anquan Bolden. That's big news. The Rams, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. They bring in Jake Long. That's a big
Right.
move for their offensive line. But they just don't have the weapons, Bob.
No.
Steve Fisher there, I love him as a coach, and he had them playing very well. They were actually 4-1-1
yeah.
against that NFC West last year
Yeah,
in
but
division.
They just don't.
And the Cardinals bring in Carson Palmer to throw to L. Fitz, Larry Fitzgerald,
Is that
and
gonna
Bruce
be a
Arians
big,
is the new guy.
Big push or what?
I don't know. So the NFC West is interesting. A lot of good games this weekend. Atlanta, New Orleans. The Patriots open with the Bills. The Jets locally get to take on those Buccaneers. Your Giants, prime time, correct? Sunday night
Right.
against Dallas. We got San Fran and Green Bay this
Yep.
weekend, 4 o'clock on Sunday. Monday night, Eagles, Washington. So there are good games aplenty going down. Minnesota and Detroit, there's a good division battle going on right there. So there is plenty to get going. We will see what happens. We will be back next week, and we will talk about all the things that took place in week one. We will see how the Yankees, those Bronx Bummers, did in the house that Aroyd built against those Boston Red Sox in this 4-game series.
Right.
And then they finally will hit the road in some big games.
And of course, my Mets, so that's another story.
Another story for another year. We might not talk about the Mets again, Bob.
Well, we might talk about them around the end of the season. What was it? Isn't Piazza goes to Mets Hall of Fame this week, isn't it?
Oh, well, there you go. We could possibly mention that.
Yeah.
The Yankees, though, after this series, finally hit the road. 4 against Baltimore, 3 against Boston,
Right.
3 against Tampa Bay. So they do
So
finally,
the Red Sox
hit the road.
gonna jump all over the Yankees
This
tail
weekend, I don't know, 20-4 beatdown of the Tigers last night in Fenway. 8 home runs they hit. I would have liked to see them save some for tonight, but the bats are swinging. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks for the call, Kevin, and we'll see you then.
Yep.